Ghost kitchens continue to make the top of the news, and really it's a great opportunity, I think, for a lot of brands to kind of really understand what a ghost kitchen is, and maybe I can implement this in my own business. We're going to dive into that today. My name is Paul Barron. This is Barron Report. With me and joining me today is Mark Choi of Ghost Kitchen Brands, the president up there out of Toronto, Canada. Great to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
Hey, Mark, let's jump into Ghost Kitchen Brands itself. You guys started in 2016. Kind of tell me a little bit about the evolution, because now we've got kind of quite a bit of a unique differences of how ghost kitchens have been coming to market. Where are you guys currently?
For sure, the model has evolved and changed over time. Our founder George Kotis started this up in 2016. He likes to tell the story of how he had a little breakfast diner, and he was one of the first restaurants to sign up with Uber Eats, which started off in Toronto. Just after he started up with Uber Eats, he was only open till 3 p.m, but the hours were mistakenly set to 24 hours. And so very quickly he saw that he was missing orders all throughout the day. So he expanded his hours of operations to be 24 hours. But then, he tweaked onto it very quickly about the power of third-party delivery. And so very quickly he started adding different menus to his to Uber Eats. So he had a breakfast menu, a hamburger menu, shawarma menu, different menus, all under different brands to consumers, and it did, very, very, very well. But back then there weren't many people doing third-party delivery, so it was easy for those brands to get visibility.
Right.
He opened up, 10 different kitchens across Toronto, all doing well, and they were all in, poor locations, cheap rent, but they could all serve their customers faithfully, through delivery.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like the concept of the evolution there. I'm kind of curious, as you guys have grown and seen kind of the different variations of consumers connecting with ghost brands, because this has been an argument I've seen and talked with several operators and executives about. How does a ghost brand kind of get in and lock in with a consumer when it's not a brick and mortar brand? What seems to be the dynamic there?
Yeah, I think it's, if I'm being honest, it was challenging for our internal brands to succeed. They did find back then, when there wasn't a lot of competition, when all the national brands weren't doing third-party delivery. So it was easy for us to get visibility. We've cornered the market. But I think over time, and that's one of the ways our business model has evolved, is we've had to, sort of phase out a lot of those internal brands and focus on some, national branded partners to bring us traffic and the visibility.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the model itself. As a ghost kitchen creator, you guys are essentially dropping in a variety of brands, whether it's through partnerships or deals with national brands. You go in and secure a real estate play.
Sure.
Are you guys handling all the tech and all the arrangements with the third-party companies and everything?
Yeah, so, in all our ghost kitchens, we are the operator. So we're not, leasing space out. We're not building it for the brands. We are like, true partners with all our brands. In some cases, we're like a franchisee. So, we signed the real estate, we own the space, we build it ourselves, and we operate, multiple different brands, in the one site. So again, from a consumer's perspective, when we're educating consumers, we're like a virtual food court. So customers can go onto, third-party delivery platforms, look up ghost kitchens, and then you can choose from all our brands, all in one delivery on one fee. And that's what sort of sets us apart from anybody else.
When you guys started this, are you trying to put together kind of an arsenal of brands that you feel like, hey, these are the ones that work well with ghost kitchens? Some brands do, some brands don't work well with ghost kitchens. How did you guys go about the process of kind of selecting or enlisting other brands to kind of put into your program?
Well, I think when we talk to brands, and we talk to a lot of different brands, one of the two things we're looking for are, operational simplicity, because, we do have a busy kitchen. Every brand in our kitchen has their own station. So we do want to make sure that we can execute it properly to live up to the brand standards. The other thing that we're looking for in a brand is brand equity. We want brands that have been around a while, that customers know, but maybe they don't have the distribution that they would like. They have, some of our partner brands like Cinnabon and Quiznos, everybody knows them, but they can be hard to find. So we offer that distribution option for those brands so that, again, we can leverage that equity that they've built over 10, 20, 30 years, but still give them a presence with consumers anywhere they want.
Yeah. How do you guys plan to expand? Are you looking at coming into the U.S. in a big way? Or planning to build out Canada? What's your strategy?
Yeah. So, our business model has changed over time in terms of real estate and development. When we started doing this, we were, again, located in industrial areas, just as long as we could deliver. And as long as we had presence on third-party platforms, that's all we needed. But as we became more and more convenient for consumers, we added more brands. A lot of the feedback from consumers was, well, it's great if I'm at home for delivery and I want access to all your brands, but what if I'm out shopping? Or what if I'm at work? Why can't I have the same access to brands? So as part of our development plan, we've started to select locations now which are high visibility, high foot traffic areas. We're in a mall, we're in power centers, we're looking at military bases. We have standalone locations right now. So again, trying to grow wherever consumers might want the convenience of a food court. And so, with that, it's allowed us to explore a whole bunch of different opportunities. I know we're going to talk about Walmart, and I think that's a great fit. But we want to go wherever there's consumers are, wherever they might want food. And so,
for sure.
Our plans were, to open up 100 locations in Canada, 800 in the United States. But now, as we look at how we can grow and where the demand is, we could even double or triple that.
Yeah. I saw a recent CNBC article that basically said ghost kitchens could reach the $1 trillion point. And I'm looking at this number and I'm just trying to wrap my head around this because the restaurant industry, even we have been somewhat aggressive in forecasting the restaurant industry to about 1.3 trillion by the end of 23, early 24. How do you feel like ghost kitchens could ever get to that kind of market cap for the industry? Do you feel like we're just going to see a massive shift in brands moving to ghost kitchens?
Yeah, I think there's certainly always going to be a demand for ghost kitchens. And I think, with the pandemic and the lockdowns, I do believe that people's, expectations are changing. Everybody wants what they want, when they want it, where they want it. And so certainly ghost kitchens and online delivery are certainly going to take up more and more, piece of the market share, so to speak. There will always be a demand for in-store dining. I think nothing can beat the social interaction with your friends, with your families, when you go out. So I think, there's always going to be a demand for restaurants, but I do think, the market is changing, technology is changing it, and the pandemic and the lockdowns have even accelerated that. But right now, again, as we've seen through every facet of society, people want convenience. And, ghost kitchens, both our model and other models, help people get more convenience.
Let's talk a little bit about technology. You mentioned there for a second. So there's been some moves here recently, whether you look at Domino's or Chipotle, doing deals with Neuro, robotic and autonomous delivery.
Sure.
And maybe robotic in the food prep itself. We've talked to the founders of Paestre and Miso Robotics, all these different guys that are kind of going in this direction. Two different aspects, one in the prep side, one in the delivery side. Give me your thoughts on how robotics, if you look at prep side, how that could play a future in the industry.
Absolutely. I mean, we're busy looking at robotics right now. We saw a test this week of somebody trying to do our beverage station, for example, because, we have 15 different brands in all our kitchens. There's a lot of drinks going out, and, where we can economize on labor, we're always looking for different ways. So, we've tested a robot to do all our beverages. Make them in volume so that, again, we can serve the customers faster and save even more on labor. Beyond that, I know robots have been around for a while, but we're also looking for a way to incorporate those into, the front of house, because I still think there's some sort of entertainment value for people to walk into kitchens to see the robots making your food. And, so I think robots are definitely going to be the way of the future, but to be able to use robots, you need to have volume. There's no point having a robot that's going to make, 4 pasta dishes a day. Robots are most efficient, when they have volume, when they have scale. And so the busier you can get your kitchen, the more effective robots can be.
Yeah, for sure. Do you like the idea of autonomous delivery with what Chipotle and Domino's is doing with Neuro and potentially many other players coming into the market? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do think, again, if we can use that sort of technology to do delivery in a different way, ultimately it only helps the consumer. It can, perhaps bring costs down, make things more efficient. So absolutely, I do think that, that sort of, those sort of delivery ideas are going to, take hold and always and continue to increase.
I want to jump into this whole cross blend of menus where you
Sure.
get this hyper extension of I go to a ghost kitchen, I say I want a salad from Saladworks and a dessert from Cheesecake Factory.
Yep.
The ability to kind of blend that in your particular operation, can you handle intersectional brand menus as it is now?
Absolutely. And so, we continue to encourage people to mix and match their orders. And so, obviously it helps us with, our ticket size goes up, the third party
Right.
platform is happy. And of course, at the end of the day, it's all about convenience for the consumer.
Yeah.
So often, I'm sure, Paul, you're at home at night with your wife, your kids, everybody wants something different. So
Oh
either
yeah.
you get 4 deliveries with 4 fees and 4 orders and 4 drivers, or you could go to a ghost kitchens on your delivery platform. You get a salad, your wife gets a Quizno, your son gets a cheesecake, and your daughter gets a Cinnabon. Now
Yeah.
everybody is happy, and that's the ultimate, method of convenience to make everybody happy. From an operational perspective, it hasn't really been a challenge for us. In our kitchens, we do have a station for each brand. All our staff is cross-trained, so they can move from the Saladworks station to the Quiznos station just as the orders come in.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been it hasn't been any issues operationally. And while there's a lot of menus and it does take some training, none of the brands that we've partnered with are overly complicated to execute. And all our brand partners have been very good partners in terms of helping us train and come up with training materials to make sure that we meet all the brand standards that they've built over the years.
Yeah. Forbes talked about kind of an evolution in the retail customer UX. We talked about this a little bit on the show here, is there seems to be a shift now, especially in the tech stacks for restaurant companies, to create a much more inviting user experience, trying to create that experiential element.
Right.
How is that working for you guys, and are you guys doing your own tech stack in terms of your software development? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do consider ourselves obviously a food court and a food company, but just as much we consider ourselves, a technology company. So every piece of technology that you see in our stores, we've developed ourselves. We have our own tech division that creates everything that we do in our stores. From a customer's perspective, certainly the experience is much different than you might imagine, or anybody might imagine if they haven't seen one of our stores. When you come into our kitchen, if you're a walk-in customer, there is no customer service. There's nobody there to say, "Hi, Paul, how are you? What would you like today?" That would be A, very inefficient since we have 15 different menus, and B, we're trying to create much more of an experience. So we've installed, 55-inch kiosks. They're over 6 feet high when they're mounted on our walls. Customers can come in and they can intuitively, touch the screens to order whatever they want. We do think that the idea that they can, customize their order, that it's sort of on demand, is a very good experience for them. So again, customers come into our stores, they use the kiosk to place their order. They can pay on the kiosk as well. And as soon as they pay, they have the option to enter in their phone number. When they enter in their phone number, we text them a receipt. They also get another text as soon as their order is ready. So if the customer wants to go outside, wants to continue shopping, wants to go back to work, they don't have to worry that they're going to miss their order.
Right.
For customers that do come into our store that don't want to use the kiosk, they don't want to touch it, they want some social distancing, obviously we have QR codes as well, which I think are becoming very common in the industry, so that customers can order from the safety of their own phone. But again, in all the walk-in environments that we have, we're encouraging use of the kiosk, we're encouraging use of the QR code to make the whole shopping experience that much better. That technology goes into the back of house as well. When customers place their order in the kiosk, it comes back to a central tablet at each station in the back of our kitchen. So the Quiznos station, if somebody orders a Quiznos, the Quiznos order will pop up there. If somebody orders a Saladworks at the Saladworks station, the video will pop up, or the order will pop up there. Plus, it's easy to build in training tools, but every piece of technology in our store is developed by us.
So you mentioned sales lift. You've had some performance of, being able to take an average check that, kind of usually had that veto vote with being able to get the right, build out a whole entire meal from multiple restaurants.
Yep.
What's been kind of the number there? Has it been a double-digit sales lift? What kind of traction are you guys getting?
Every time we add a brand, we see our average ticket go up, and so now our average ticket is probably in the upper 20s right now. And again, as we continue to add orders or add brands, we don't feel like it cannibalizes any of our sales, because every time we add a brand, typically it's in a different category. So Quiznos was one of our first sandwich brands, and the average ticket was fine. But we found that when we added, Saladworks or Crepe Delicious, our average continued to go up, because again, we're offering more convenience, and we're making our menu offering much more attractive to consumers. So we that's why we're so encouraged and so, I guess, motivated to continue to add brands, because we know these are there's customer demand out there for it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into the retail side of things. You guys obviously did a deal with Walmart. Dropping in Ghost Kitchen brands inside Walmart. And we've seen the exodus of both, McDonald's, Subway, et cetera, and then, people like Taco Bell, et cetera, that would be interested in maybe dropping in. Why wouldn't Walmart just say, wait a minute, let's drop in these Ghost Kitchens and let the brands become interchangeable, but yet the operation stays the same? Do you feel like that's going to be the way retail centers go in the future?
Yeah, I do. I think, ultimately, and I've said this a few times, ultimately it goes back to convenience and customer experience. And so, I know in our partnership with Walmart, we've had a great relationship with them so far, and, we continue to build on that. The one thing that they've stressed to us is we want a good customer experience. And so in my mind, when I think about how a shopper goes into a Walmart, they want to be able to buy whatever it is they need in one spot. They want to get, their groceries, their pet food, their shoes, their DVD. But that experience also extends to food. And, I love McDonald's as much as the next person. But if I was a consumer, why wouldn't I want to have the choice between 10, 15, 20 different brands? Why wouldn't I want to have the experience so that I could get something for everybody in my family? Why wouldn't I want to see, something I haven't seen before? Robots, touchscreen TVs, anything, different types of ordering experience. And so the feedback that we've got so far from our customer intercepts is they love the idea. They love having the convenience and the flexibility to order whatever it is they like. And so they get everything in one-stop shopping.
I like that.
Yeah. Beyond that, every one of these, partners where we go in, they'll have employees too. So if there's a Walmart employee now, rather than, they have a half-hour break, they could leave the store and go get something, or they could, on the QR code from the employee break room, order something from us. By the time they walk up to get it, it's ready for them. Employees happy, Walmart's happy, we're happy, everybody's a winner.
I want to talk a little bit about the logistics there of a few things. One is, are you using centralized bagging to where if I order a Saladworks and then maybe a dessert from somewhere else and a slice of pizza, is that all flowing down into kind of like what Zool Kitchens does, where it kind of goes into a centralized bagging and I get one package to take home or that's going out for delivery?
Exactly.
Okay. Can I do pickup at a Walmart location if I do an online order and just say, hey, I'm going to go to Walmart and do a pickup?
Absolutely. So, the best part about our business model is, all the locations that we are inside Walmart, they can all do delivery as well. Okay. And so typically, our delivery history has shown that our busiest delivery periods are from 7 p.m. onwards. That's when people, want delivery. The walk-in traffic obviously is much more, skewed towards during the day, 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. So any one of our locations, does both. When you enter one of our locations, you see all the kiosks there, but then you do see a pickup counter where everybody would pick up their order. And if you're, a Walmart employee or you're a shopper or you're a driver, you just come to that one central counter where we've packaged all the brands that you might have ordered into one bag. So you're not worrying about, a Cinnabon bag and a Quiznos order. Mm-hmm. It's all in one package for you together.
Yeah. Okay, so the relationship with these brands in the past, it's mostly been franchise or franchisee working out in the industry. And we are seeing kind of a lot of new evolution of how some franchise systems are getting very creative. Are you guys, since you're kind of on the other side, are you building any backhaul data over to the franchise systems that says, hey, we're running these ghost kitchens over here, we're getting this kind of foot traffic, we're seeing this kind of ticket lift, Anything that could kind of help these franchise systems start to really get their head around this?
Yeah, I think, all the brands that we've partnered with, they've all, been very flexible with us, and they all understand that this is a new type of distribution for them. So certainly, while they've been very good partners with us, willing to adapt their menu, their supply chain, at the same time, we want to be good partners with them. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to share any data we get for anything related to any of their brands with them. We can tell them, sales mix, what products do better, time of day, average ticket, all those pieces of information we're happy to share with all our brands, because I think we're all evolving, we're all learning, and in some cases, I know Quiznos, for example, we shared some customer information with them, and they came back with suggestions for us about how to tweak the menu mix based on what we shared with them, based on what they do in their stores, and we adapted our menu to improve on the offering for consumers.
Yeah. Okay, so in the retail side, because this would
Sure.
kind of set the table for potential new industries and maybe new ghost kitchens or multi-unit brands. If you look at the sales mix, and when I say sales mix, not necessarily the menu mix, but takeout versus pickup or delivery versus a pickup, how are you guys weighing out in those two categories?
Well, we've seen a very distinct difference at some of our stores, and it all depends on where they're located. So,
Okay.
at the Walmart locations, for example, we probably do 75% walk-in traffic,
Oh,
which is
wow.
what
Okay.
anecdotally you'd think, just because there's so much traffic walking
Yeah.
by our stores, they come in. We have some locations that, again, some of our older locations, they're not in high traffic, high visibility locations. They do 95% of their traffic or sales, by delivery, by third party delivery. So I think it's very much, going to, depend on where it's located. Ultimately, I'd love to find a sweet spot where you're doing 50-50. During
Yeah.
the day, tons of walk-in traffic, and at night, that's when we focus on delivery. And so, I think that is, part of sort of our business model is there's going to be lots of learning. I mean, we've
Yeah.
only been doing this for, a couple of years with the national brands in the retail locations. It's going to take a little bit of time till we, learn more about what we do.
Yeah. Since you guys are grabbing some premium real estate, I mean, for a ghost kitchen, a lot of times, as you kind of mentioned and alluded to, is they're usually in, B locations because they don't need that, that retail front. Now you have it. Is there
Right.
any plan, especially with the retail side, to maybe offer up like an advertising model where you've got all this retail front where you could put up some kiosk or display systems that could essentially kind of drive to the patrons that are walking by the locations, whether it's advertising messages, prompt to order queues, things like that. Anything going on with that?
Yeah, I think, what we're doing is sort of, scratching the surface. Ultimately, we hope to have kitchens everywhere in high visible locations, so we almost become like a distribution network, so to speak.
Right.
Because, right now, all our kitchens outside of Walmart, they're all open 24 hours a day, 365, 24/7. So you can reach us anytime for ultimate convenience. I think when we're open, when we get more built out, we have the opportunity to leverage that out for, different marketing promotions, to bring new brands to market instantly.
Yeah.
In our Walmart locations, we try to use our video walls and our kiosks to cross market with Walmart. So if they have a promotion going on or some news or announcements, they can use our video screens as well, because we need more messaging. We want to keep the consumer engaged. So I think there's a lot of different ways that we can use our technology and our real estate for other purposes rather than just what we're doing right now, which is just to accept orders.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very interesting space because there's just so much innovation happening, and it really is redefining how consumers are interfacing with food brands for sure. So it's going to be fun to watch.
It is. It's such a new industry that things are always evolving, and even what I think is coming up is probably going to be different from 6 months and 8 months and 12 months from now. And I think that's to be expected for any new industry. There's going to be players who in this market who don't make it, and new players emerge.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's the same for any new emerging trend or market.
Yeah, lots of opportunities for companies to kind of go in that direction. With kind of the heat on the market sector, you've got companies like Travis Kalanick and his Cloud Kitchens, Kitchen
Sure.
United. Down here in Miami, we've got Reef Technologies. Do you see potentially an IPO coming soon out of this category? I would think with ghost kitchens, it's just such a hot market. There's got to be one coming.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to focus, too much on that. But if our business grows the way, we think we're going to grow, then, I wouldn't say that's too far off the horizon. We need to focus right now on our operational excellence, on just doing what we do well. And, all those other stuff, the IPO stuff, that'll all take care of itself.
Yeah.
We're trying to finish off our first round of financing. And I think it's been very gratifying for us personally when you see, the level of investor that, we're talking to, when you see the level of brands that we're partnering with, like Quiznos, like Cinnabon, like Saladworks. And when you see that the type of retailer that wants to work with us, like, the shopping malls we're dealing with, like the military bases, and of course, like Walmart. So, when all those things come together, it's almost like the perfect storm for us. And, we just need to try to sort of capitalize and take advantage of that. And then all the financial stuff and the IPO stuff, that'll come. It's not my short-term focus, but I know it's out there, and we're building towards that. We just right now need to focus on sort of executing, and all those other things will come.
Yeah.
Our business model is unique. There's not a lot of any, I know you talked about those other competitors out there that you just mentioned. They do their model of a dark or ghost kitchen much different than ours. So, good luck to them. There's space in the marketplace for both of us, for sure. But, I know for us, we're the only operator of a ghost kitchen who's the actual operator. And we're the only ones who have multiple national brands.
Yeah.
And, that makes us scalable and able to grow fast with the right funding. And, we're just getting started right now.
Do you see in the future any potential restaurant brands or concepts that could become national brands for ghost kitchen usage? I think always of my friend Jeff Alexander and what he's doing with Wow Bao.
Sure.
He's transporting what was a small chain of Bao's companies, very small, I think maybe 10 units across New York and Chicago. And now he's transporting that out across America in a whole new way. Do you feel like there could be some brands that really kind of break out like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've spoken to Wow Bao, and we hope to launch with them, relatively soon, both in Canada and the United States. And I think that's obviously different than us, but they've done a great job, promoting their brand and getting it to consumers, and good for them, because the consumer response for them has been overwhelming. Yeah. And so, if I owned a single restaurant out there, I would certainly, look at different brands like that I could easily add to my menu. That said, any existing restaurant can only add so many brands if they're not built for it. So, good for Jeff and the other brands out there like that, because I think that's a real opportunity for them. And, there might be some crossover where they can build it in with our menus. But, certainly, we've talked to a number of Asian brands, for example, who want to come to North America. And, they don't have any brick and mortar store here. They don't have any brand equity. But in, next year at this time, when we have, 400 stores open, I can offer these brands, instant distribution, instant credibility, which again is something that is very valuable, I think, in this day and age, when, again, consumers, when brands, when everybody just wants convenience.
Yeah. You got to hook up with the guys over at Asian Box. They've got a great product, and I've been to many of their locations. That would be a rock star for takeout, especially.
I would love to do Chinese food. I mean, my background a long time ago was with, Asian restaurants, and I love eating a good, dim sum more than anybody. So one of these days we'll be able to expand our menu to incorporate, Chinese food and different menu segments where we haven't even touched on yet.
Hey, listen, Mark, it's great having you on the show. Thank you so much. Good luck to you up there with Ghost Kitchen Brands. Looks like you guys are off to a stellar start for sure.
I appreciate the time, Paul, and hopefully we can connect again.
Thank you for stopping in. All right, so all of you listening in over on the podcast right now, make sure and give us a rating. It's how we get great feedback from you, and it's also how we get ideas of who and what you might want to see and listen to here on the Barron Report. If you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure and hit the subscribe button, and also like the video. That's the best way we understand if we're doing stuff that makes your day work. And of course, if you have an idea for a show, you can send us a note to producer@foodablenetwork.com. And also, you can hit us up on Twitter, which is just @PaulBarron. We'll catch you next time right here on The Barron Report.